I'll try with my answer. Real fast before we do this today, just review. I know we've talked about this in here before. Yes, we have. We have. Who remembers what 0.2 repeating is converted to fractions? We've talked about it. What is it? Oh. We did. We did. You just wait. We did. Fine. What's 0.3 repeating? 1/3. Okay, it's 1/3. That's actually 3/9. It's 0.2 repeating. 2/9. It is. Check it on your calculator. What's 0.7 repeating? 7/9. What's 0.9 repeating? 1. It is 9/9, which is 1.
Is it always over 9?
The number that's repeating. Yeah, so if we do like 0.2323323, that would be 23/99. It is. Check on your calculator. Don't believe it.
No, I don't think so, but like...
So did we not talk about that and then you all were like, why is 0.9 repeating 1?
Yeah.
I feel like we had this conversation.
Yeah.
I was like, right.
Oh no, it was one of my breakout classes, I swear. It was like, I don't know.
I remember when I seen something I don't understand.
So anyway, 0.9 repeating is 1, get it?
You were in there? No, I don't know.
Well, there's a proof. There's a proof for it. Then 1/9 is 0.1 repeating. 1/9 is 0.1 repeating. If you take this equation and do whatever you want to both sides, so we're going to multiply both sides by 9. You multiply both sides by 9. What's 9 times 1/9? And what's 9 times 0.1 repeating? 0.9 repeating. That's proof. It's true. Okay. Today, that's not our lesson, but we're need it later in our lesson. Today we're learning about the summation symbol. It looks like that funny E. It's the Greek letter sigma, and it stands for sum of a series.
What is that? Why do they use that?
Sigma?
Yeah, I'm Greek.
I believe because a lot of math was created over the Greek side, like studied mathematics thousands of years ago. I don't know. Okay, so what this symbol means is it means you're going to take whatever the formula is, and this is where the formula is going to be. You're going to take whatever the formula is, and you're going to find every term that it asks you to find, and then you add them up. So this is the summation symbol. It means add them all up. It means find all the numbers, add them all up. Now it tells you which numbers to find when you look over here. Here there's a 1. The 1 is the lower limit of summation. It tells you the first term that I plug in. Up at the top is the n. It's going to be a number. The n is the upper limit of summation, and that tells you the last term that I plug in. So where you were doing that part at the beginning of your assignment last time, we were plugging in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's what you're still doing today. You're just going to add them up afterwards. Yeah.
So like when you give us like a to the 1 equals like 14, that's basically what it is. That's what you're giving us?
No.
Wait,
Let's actually do it with an example and make more sense. Let's do an example and make more sense. Okay? So here, this first one says, find the sum. Here's my summation symbol. It has an I for the variable, but you'll see the variable doesn't have to be I. Here's a K, here's a J. It has I equals 1, and then on top it has 5. That means I'm going to plug in 1 into the equation first for I. So 3 times 1 minus 1. Then I'm going to plug in 2. Then I'm going to plug in 3. Then I'm going to plug in 4. And then I'm going to plug in 5, and that's the upper limit of summation, so I can stop plugging stuff in. So I'm going to find these answers, and then I will add them. So we're finding the first 5 terms, then we'll add. So I found the first 5 terms, I added them up, and I got 40. My answer is 40. So that symbol tells you what terms we're plugging in, and it tells you to add them up. That's what that symbol tells you to do.
So you always add them after you make those.
When it has that summation symbol, that's what it means. Summation, add them. So the next one, it says to use terms 1 through 6. So my first term is what? 3. My second term is 3. My third term, my fourth term, fifth term, sixth term, and then I add them up. 18 is my sum. So there was no variable to plug it in, so we're just using 3 each time. The top number is the last term that you plug in. So how many terms from 1 to 5 did I have for this one? How many terms from 1 to 6 did I have? Okay, so then how many terms am I going to have for this one?
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I don't know.
Okay, well, let's do it. So I'm just trying to show you that the top number is not the number of terms.
So it's 5.
It's 5, yeah. So the top number is the last one you plug in, but it's not the number of terms. It depends on what the bottom number is, too. So here we're doing negative j squared, so we're going to do negative 0 squared for our 0 term. Then we have 1, then we have 2, 3, and we stop at 4. Remember, if you square a number, you only square what it's on. You don't square the negative also, because there's not a parenthesis around it. So I just square 1, then make it negative. Square 2, then make it negative. Question? 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 Or somebody else answering it? There's not parentheses, so the negative part is not being squared. Oh yeah, there should be negative sign there. Sorry. So when we add up all of those, we get negative 30. But like I said before, there's 5 terms for that. The top number is 4. The top number is not the number of terms. It is the last term you're plugging in.
So only at the bottom is 1 and the top's the number.
That's the only time it would be coincidentally the same. But it's not always going to be 1 and sometimes it'll be 3 and a number. Just have to read it. All right. Next is the calculator section. So I have you conveniently placed with people that do the same directions. And this is kind of hidden, but the equation is there. It's given to you. It's just like in a weird spot. It doesn't stand out. So if you have a new calculator, you go to Math, and you scroll down, and you'll find the summation. It is a new calculator. If you're looking for the factorial, that is under Math, and then you go over to PRB, which stands for probability, to find the factorial. You don't have it. Oh, that's why you guys are together. So the directions are on here. I was going to help you.
It's not letting me plug it in.
So you have to go, the older calculator, you're going to hit second stat. It says, like, there's 2 steps on your list. Second stat, scroll over to Math, hit 5, which is so I am helping the group that have the older calculators because theirs not as intuitive. So I'm helping that group. You guys are sitting with each other. Make sure that when you're done, you get 153 over 2. When you try it yourself, you should get 153 over 2. If you don't get it, you're doing something wrong. Help each other.
I've got 7.
Okay. So after you get that sum, then you go to step 2 where it says hit second stat and go over the yes and hit lock. Yeah, those are different. You're not gonna do it. So we're going to, it's gonna look like this. You're done. It's gonna look like this down here when you're done. You gotta go to like that number down in second tab, go over the rest of the Wait, must I write it? So you do Alright, so then you're gonna hit X. Just like your roll action. And then back to right. Okay, now let me know I did that. And then
You mean the letter? Like the X and the
Wait,
so didn't you actually do
so the X. The reason why you're checking that X next is you have to what variable you're using. And then the 1 is telling the lower limit, and then the 5 is the upper limit. So that's what you're telling the lower limit is X equals 1. That's what all that comes out. Now, what is your and it just means we're doing the sum of this. And then minus. This X, okay, well, because you're showing, your calculator at the bottom, there's a variable as an M, so it's saying, well, X is 1 through 5. That's gotta be lower limit to upper limit. So you're basically telling it, so the other calculators, theirs just shows like this, and there's like little blanks. And they have to type in an X, and they have to type in 1, and put it in 5, so you're doing that too. It's just doesn't give you the little blanks. So when you guys do homework, you really have to make sure you're going through the steps and memorizing. I'm not gonna help you with here. All right, you guys all get 153 over 2? Hers is weird. Hers is weird. Why are you doing that? Because I have to. Why? I don't know the shape of that map. And then I think it's doing that. That's weird. That's what I said. I said it. You might have to join the back room. Well, that's the only way. So you were, well, I was on my, I tried to shoot it. Ooh, I think I know. I think I know. I think I know. Wait, what did you do? You just had a mode on. It was a mode that you had that was not allowing you to have that cool stuff. Okay. So you couldn't do the fractions the whole year? No, I should have talked to you out very well. I was too embarrassed. I didn't think I could do fractions. I started like, oh, year. Especially she's living with her.
Okay, there's today's the last day for orientation classes, right? Does my shut them at 3 or okay.
That's what I heard 11.
I read it. I don't know. Did it open today? No.
I think it's on the announcements at 7 p.m.
Everybody's trying to do it, it's not loading.
We're almost done. I can troubleshoot that when I'm done because you aren't going to be able to do
I don't have to do that.
everything if you don't know what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay, let's do it. And I've been recording this video, so it's been recording while I've helped you all with your calculators too. Whoops, sorry whoever's watching it. Hopefully they just fast forwarded that. Here it says use sigma notation to write the sum. It's not asking you to find the sum. It's saying use sigma notation to represent the sum in sigma notation. You don't have to find the sum. So we're going to write sigma notation. We're going to start there. We're going to pick a variable. I don't know, I. And then we're going to do what you were doing in yesterday's assignment. We have to find the nth term. But you're going to put it into the sigma notation instead of what you were doing yesterday. So I'm looking for a pattern here. It looks like on top, every single term has a 5. It also looks like on the bottom, it's 1 plus something. It's just that something is changing. So I think about this being the first term, second term, third term, and that just happens to be the same number. So what should I put in that spot? Well, I called it I, so if you want to call it N, you got to put N down here.
Wait, so you're basically doing the nth term on the right side.
That's exactly what I said 2 seconds ago. I know. So what is the lower limit? What's the first term I'm plugging in?
1.
What's the last term I'm plugging in? Okay. And there we go. And then the next one, same kind of question, a little bit trickier. This time I feel like doing an N. So we have to find the nth term. So things that I notice is that the top is multiplying by -1. So I know on top it's going to be -1 to some power. So right away I put it as n, but it might not be n. I'm going to check it. I'm going to think about my exponents. Not my exponents, my n's, my term numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I put 1 in here, -1 to the first, does that give me a positive answer? No. It does not. If I put in -1 to the second, does that give me what I need, a negative answer? No. It does not. So I have to change that n. What can I do to the n? Subtract 1. So if I subtract 1 and I go redo this, does this work? 1 minus 1 is 0. Anything to the 0 power is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. -1 to the first is negative. So it works. Huh? What?
Just doing bottom up.
Okay, now the bottom looks like I'm multiplying by 2's. Even this first one, if there's a 1 over 1, I'm multiplying by 2. So it's going to be 2 to some power. I have to figure out if it's really n or not, so I will check it. I will do 2 to the first. Does that give me my first denominator of 1? If I do 2 to the second, does that give me a second denominator of 2? What do I need to do to the exponent so it actually works? Subtract 1. So subtract 1 and then I check it and it works. And then I look at this and I notice that they both have the exact same exponents. So I'm going to simplify this a bit. They both have the exact same exponents. So I'm going to write this as -1/2 to the n minus 1. Simplify. Yes, you need to simplify. Then we got to figure out our lower and our upper limit. So the lower limit, if I were using my blue numbers as the n values, it's going to start at 1. But my upper limit, I didn't figure out yet. So I've got to figure out what n do I plug in but get out 128. So that is a power of 2. What n should I be using? It is 8 or 7. Which one is that?
8. I'm gonna go with 8. 7.
Wait, how do you figure what that is? Yeah.
Well, 2 to the first is 2, 2 to the second is 4, 2 to the third is 8, 2 to the fourth is 16, 2 to the fifth is 32, 2 to the sixth is 64, 2 to the seventh is 128. Do you see what I'm doing here? But what do you have to plug in to make this say 2 to the 7? So you have to plug in 8. So this has to be an 8 up here. So you have to figure out what number you plug in to make it work. Okay, the last 2 examples are for infinite series. Infinite. So you'll know it's infinite because there's an infinity as the upper limit. Is it? You never stop. Just add up every single term. Unless it says something like this: fifth partial sum. That means we're going to take part of this infinite series and we're going to do that part of it. Means we're just doing the first 5 terms. If you're doing a partial, you're just doing however many. Fifth partial, you're just doing the first 5 terms. Go ahead and try this one on your calculator. Make sure we know how to type it in our calculator. Because surprisingly, even the people with the new calculators are going to have trouble with this one. I will tell you the answer so you can make sure you're doing it right. If you have, no, don't use an I, use an X. Just use an X. It doesn't matter the variable.
So let's see what it's from, right? Okay.
I don't have memorized this one.
I got 10 over 13.
So I have the answer up.
You have to put case squared.
You didn't do the exponent. The exponent has to be on one part. You put the, well, you didn't do it. Yeah, you put the exponent. You didn't put the exponent on the what? You put it on the exponent. So this parentheses, that column, that says summation. Yeah, so you so Joey has it in your group. He can help you with the correct typing. Everybody else, no, because you're for X in the wrong spot. X that has to be on the third, not outside of that box. You delete it, you go inside the front slash. In between. Well, you're not putting in 5, you're putting in X. So you put the 5 here, it knows that you're going to 5, so you put X in. Did you guys get it? I don't. You're not putting it. We're doing partial sum. Using it and then you have to hit your argument. All right, the last one. No. The last one is going to be by hand. The last one is going to be by hand. So if you already have the calculator answer, I'm helping them with the calculator. If you already have that previous calculator answer, this one's going to be by hand. There's no way you can do infinity by hand. So you're going to start doing the first 4 terms, and then we'll find how. because you put the x on 2 times. Also, if you need to have that first parenthesis, that means okay, you're really putting the number in parentheses, not this.
It's sums.
Okay, just put it after. Yeah, so it should be parentheses 2.
Oh my god. That's what I did.
Okay, so I'm going to find the first 4 terms, but this does say to find the infinite sum. So you will be able to do this, and you'll be able to do it without a calculator, and in your homework you'll be doing this without the calculator. So to find the first term, I'm going to put in what? 1. So we'll do 1/10 to the first, which is 1/10. Thank you. Adding. What is squared? Give me. 100. Plus, what's to the third? 1,000. Plus, what's to the fourth? Plus, ... So do we see a pattern?
Why are you doing times 10?
I'm not. I'm taking 1/10 to a power, which says 1 times 1 times 1 over 10 times 10 times 10. So I'm taking the previous one and multiplying the top and bottom by 1/10. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these into decimals. 1/10 as a decimal. Plus, what's 100th as a decimal? Plus 0.001 plus 0.0001. Can you figure out a pattern? What is this when I add all this together infinitely? 0.11111. So what fraction is it? 1/9. That's the answer. So we add the sum, so we add them all together. I could rewrite it this way. It might be nicer to see them this way. Anyway, this goes for infinity, so it's going to be this forever. Okay. And then you have to know that point on repeating is 1/9. That's it. Stuff is on Canvas already. I'm going to stop the video and then put that right back up.